All right, welcome everyone for your speculation. We're taking a pause from looking back at old Oscar ceremonies because Oscar nominations are tomorrow. Still at 5:30 in the morning Pacific time. I don't know why, but with me is Rachel and Erik and Cesco.
I have never been worse.
And Matt, Rob, and John.
Hello. Yeah, hi.
And we're going to get started with supporting actor. And so we want to do our predictions, and we want to do one FYC who should be nominated here. And we're going to, let's start with Erik. You tell us where you're starting with supporting actor.
My predictions also include essentially an FYC because it's a bit of a Hail Mary. And I ranked mine too. So I've got Daniel Kaluuya for Judas and the Black Messiah, Leslie Odom Jr. for One Night in Miami, Sacha Baron Cohen for Trial of Chicago 7, Paul Raci for Sound of Metal, and Alan S. Kim for Minari, who is my FYC because it's a long shot, and I know it's a long shot. So I think it made like 3 real no guts, no glories as official predictions.
Cesco, what about you?
Okay, so I have Daniel Kaluuya, Leslie Odom, Sacha Baron Cohen, although I'm not convinced that he's making it in, but I have him in. And then I have Paul Raci, which is also, I guess, my FYC because I am also not sure that he's in. And then the 5th spot, I ended up going with David Strathairn for Nomadland. That's my surprise nomination, I guess, here.
He's like the Laura Dern here. Yeah.
I just have a feeling.
I have the same 5 as Cesco. I have Strathairn as well.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's a better prediction.
Rachel, what about you?
Strathairn totally makes sense. I didn't really go haywire on this category. I have Kaluuya, Cohen, Odom, Raci, who's also my FYC because I still feel very on the fence about him. And I just stuck with Boseman. Even though The Five Bloods has really disappeared, I feel like the strength of him an actor and the just the sadness about his passing, he seems like it's possible that he could just get that double nom this year. I am not going to mention the name of a person who is a possibility who I do not want to get nominated, so I'm not going to mention him.
I'm gonna have to later because there's a reason for it, and it's a terrible one.
Yeah.
I know what your reason is because I saw your stat about it.
It's a weird stat, obviously, and you gotta really kind of jump through a little bit of hoops of how you define really an afterglow. But yeah, Ye Who Shall Not Be Named has a very, very good chance of getting in.
Oh wow!
Am I the only one who still has Boseman?
I just dropped him.
I have him.
Rob, what about you?
I have the same exact 5 as Erik.
Awesome, because Rob is better at this than I am.
It's a crapshoot. And the only reason I picked Alan Kim and Paul Raci, and I know they have kind of been down. They haven't really been in the forefront, but I think those films on the strength, especially Minari, seems to be really picking up steam all around the same time. And then I think Paul Raci, he's been in the conversation. He hasn't really kind of, won a lot of precursors, but I think he's also going to run on the strength of Riz Ahmed and the film. So I'm really kind of, I don't know. I think Alan Kim is going to be that surprise nomination tomorrow. But who knows? It could go. I took Boseman out just because The Five Bloods just really isn't doing anything. If Delroy Lindo was really kind of doing better and winning some awards, I would have probably stuck him back in. But that movie just seemed to just fade. So I'm going with these 5 and probably the same thing. FYC. I think if any if there was momentum around promising young women, I could see Bo Burnham, but I think that's just a long shot. But yeah, I'm just gonna stick with these 5.
Bo Burnham would be good. He also was great in 8th grade, so I think I FYC'd him twice.
Yeah, but I don't see Promising Women getting a lot of nominations. So,
John, you said you saw Boseman?
Yeah, I still have Boseman. I've done this 1,000 times, and I landed on Sacha Baron Cohen, Chadwick Boseman, Daniel Kaluuya, Leslie Odom Jr. for music. No, I'm kidding. And then my last one was like, I mean, it's gonna be some like older. I also like when I do predictions, I'm like, I always trend away. I weigh like what I want never happens. So I'm like, what would be the least exciting thing to happen? So I picked Mark Rylance.
Somebody had to.
Just because I feel like the last one is going to be just some like Academy favorite or just some older actor, white guy. I don't know. I had Bill Murray, but I was like, you talked me out of it a little bit.
Yeah.
Because also, I don't think anyone's seen it on Apple, and maybe not everyone has Apple. I'm overthinking this way too much. But I landed on Rylance, and I'm probably wrong.
That's what we always do. We always overthink it when voters definitely do not.
Yeah.
Matt, what are your 5?
I'm agreeing with Erik and Rob with their 5. I have Cohen, Kaluuya, Kim, Odom, and Racy. And for Kim, I just really feel like Minari has done really well in the recent awards, so I feel comfortable predicting him. And then when I was doing my Best Picture predictions, I also think Sound of Metal is pretty secure in picture. So I think maybe Racy is going to get swept up with that and get a nomination. And then my FYC is also, I'm going to copy Rob again, is Bo Burnham, because I really liked Promising Young Woman, but I don't think he has any chance.
Yeah, that my FYC was Glenn Turman from Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, who
that's mine,
and that's it.
Oh,
if I had to do an FYC outside of my predictions, it would be Orion Lee for First Cow.
Yeah, I had Glenn Turman too.
Erik, is the stat that Alan Kim is 2 days older than Justin Henry?
Yes, if the nomination period and the awards period had been normal, he would be, if he's nominated, he would be the youngest ever, beating Justin Henry. But at the same time, we won't know, obviously, until tomorrow or until whenever, if the extended time did favors to a movie like Minari, or if the normal time would have had to change the release pattern. And I'm sure it would have. I'm sure A24 would have just done, an early December and similar kind of thing. But it's the postmortems of all of this are going to be the most fascinating parts, because then we can kind of, reverse engineer how things happened and how much the extended eligibility helped or hurt contenders.
So Erik, why don't you tell us about that awful statistic?
So, I mean, it is a weird statistic, and it's only that there's never been a returning winner actor that has Golden Globe and Screen Actors Guild nominations and doesn't get nominated on their Afterglow chance. But it's been 7 years, or 6 years. Is that really going to be considered an Afterglow in the sense that, in the way that they traditionally are, which is usually like 1 or 2, like an Eddie Redmayne Danish Girl, that's an Afterglow. So
yeah,
So I did switch out. I had Boseman as my spoiler watch out for, and then I switched it to Voldemort after that little stat came up. Don't be surprised.
It can definitely happen. I mean,
I'd rather it happen to Thomas Newman for that film than for the other one.
It got shortlisted for makeup too, which was interesting.
And stupid.
How bad is the movie? I really don't want to watch it. That's the thing.
It's bad.
It replaced Cherry as my worst film of the 2020-2021 award season.
It's no longer available on HBO Max, right?
I think it is. I think it's off. Yeah, I think Judas is gone in like a day or two as well.
Judas ends today, so
Today,
Yeah,
yeah,
Judas
yeah,
ends
I
today.
like probably I think at midnight. So, but,
right before nominations come out, which is like makes total sense.
Brilliant. Yeah.
Good job.
yeah, their timing.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, with Kaluuya locked in, so tomorrow everyone's going to be like, "Oh, I really want to see this now."
And it's going
Mhm.
to
Good luck.
You snooze, you lose.
Are there any other contenders in the category that I think that's everyone, right?
I mean, the only one that I was thinking that could, I'm sure, was it John that mentioned Mark Rylance? I would see somebody like a Frank Langella
Yeah.
as a possibility in that, because that was much more of the, he played the judge, and it was a very over the top performance, and he's only been nominated once, so I could see him being possibly representing Trial of Chicago 7, but I think that would be the only one.
There's two reasons why I can't see a second nomination for that movie happening.
Yeah.
One of them obviously is how long it took for a movie to get 2 supporting actor nominations. It was between, Bugsy and 3 Billboards.
Mm-hmm.
And in order for it to even happen with 3 Billboards, there was only one other contender. And Harrelson was almost lockstep with Rockwell during the season. And there's been nobody in Trial that's been able to do that. Rylance got like the Australian Oscar nomination. And that's really it. So without that, and without like a solid second person, it would be shocking for somebody else to get in. Even, if you're name checking an old white guy.
Yeah, I don't.
Which is entirely possible.
Yeah, I don't see it being a double nominee for acting either. I mean, usually these ensembles rarely. There's always just one person that is representing, and so it's.
And they chose to run everybody supporting. So.
Right, and
Okay,
Cohen had the
back to
role.
Bill Murray. I'm not picking Alan Kim. Sorry, Rob, I cut you off. Sorry.
Oh no, it's fine. Please.
I was going to say I'm not picking Alan Kim just because I feel like good things never happen in my life. So when it comes to the Oscars, at least. So I'll go back to Bill Murray just because I don't know. He's been around. He's been like in a ton of critics awards. He hasn't won a single thing, but he's just quietly kind of been there, and he's a big name. And it's, I don't know. I just feel like that. I feel like supporting actor is always like a little bit of like a. So I'm trying to figure out what's going to make the category.
I'm still surprised that he showed up to the Zoom Golden Globes. I was like, hey, Bill Murray's there. Like,
yeah,
like I don't want to show up to shit, and he was there.
I figured he would just Francis McDormand it and be like, nah, I'm good.
I mean, Murray's certainly on the radar. Like I don't think that would completely shock me. Langella would shock me, but I wanted to mention that it would be interesting if he got in, because he won the Tony for the role in The Father that Anthony Hopkins is going to be nominated for. So that would be a cool relationship between those two actors if they both ended up getting in.
Absolutely.
Wow.
All right, I think we can move on to our next category, which is adapted screenplay. And Rob, if you can start it off.
These are my notes.
Oh, let's see. I changed my mind on this one, so I'm going with The Father, First Cow, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, Nomadland, and One Night in Miami.
All right, and then John, what about you?
Unmute.
Oh.
So for adapted, I have Borat, First Cow. I'm gonna just hope that it gets in. One Night in Miami, Nomadland, and The White Tiger.
All right, Cesco.
Father, First Cow, Nomadland, One Night in Miami, and Ma Rainey's.
Matt.
I have Borat, The Father, Ma Rainey, Nomadland, and One Night in Miami.
Rachel.
I have the same 5 as Matt. Borat, The Father, Ma Rainey, Nomadland, One Night in Miami. That's because I think Borat is relatively strong.
Eric?
I have the same as Cesco and Rob, Nomadland, Ma Rainey, One Night in Miami, The Father, and First Cow. But boy, that 5th spot is unbelievably contentious.
Yeah.
Not to mention the fact that 3 plays getting in, I believe, would be unprecedented.
Yeah,
Even in the old days of the
Yeah.
Oscars when everything was.
I have Nomadland, The Father, One Night in Miami, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, and White Tiger. So I don't think anyone has that combo.
It's good though. It's
I was predicting First Cow this entire time, but I don't know if that stat from New York Film Critics is going to hold anymore. Like, it didn't appear.
I'm holding on to it until it's done.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way. I figured it's got to get something, you know.
And this is the only place realistically that it's getting in.
Yeah.
I wish it had won USC last night, but that was never going to happen.
I mean, I was predicting the movie to do like appear at BFCA, and it really was a non-player there. So
yeah, which is pretty disappointing.
It would definitely win Best Cow.
Yeah, can it win Best Cow, please, Evie?
I had First Cow in this lineup until one particular thing happened, and that thing happening was Borat hitting PGA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fair.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised either way. Like if First Cow does it, I will not be surprised. But
it's the previous nominee here. So.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. This is one of the categories where about a month ago I would have said this is an easy one for News of the World to pick up, but that's.
Yeah.
I'm still. Yeah, when we get to Best Picture, boy, that's going to be fun to talk about how the studios have flopped. But yeah.
I saw someone tweeting, I forget who it is now, saying that it'll be interesting to see if Borat does get any nominations, if they just go with Borat's subsequent movie film, or they do the whole title a la what they did with Birdman when it got all of its nominations.
I believe so, but it'll be on it's whatever's on the reminder list, the official reminder list, which I can't remember.
The whole title.
Which is the whole title, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is what they had last time when it got in, and someone.
Yeah. So I have to imagine they will. It'll be the full title.
Yeah.
Which will be great because if it's nominated, I'll have time to,
yeah, exactly,
typed out, ready to go. If Priyanka and Nick decide to rattle off the nominees really fast.
Yeah, just extend my wait to see if Glenn gets nominated.
What a weird duo. Like, I understand they only have to do one feed. That makes sense. But I mean, like, they could do Tom Hanks, Rita Wilson. Like, there's other.
It's stupid. It makes no sense.
Ted Danson and Mary Steenburgen were right there. Like, Oscar winner.
Telling you.
I love it.
Kate Hudson, what are your picks? We're waiting.
Oh man.
Well, and Tom Hanks is like the unofficial ambassador of COVID right now. So
he was.
Yeah.
He should have been able to sail into a nomination and carry that movie. And what happened? It's awful. He should have gotten it like 3 months ago.
Okay, let's move on to original screenplay. This one I feel like is really like going to be a race.
I do too, but there's really only 6 spots.
Yeah. So Matt, why don't you start us off with original screenplay?
All right, I have Mank, Minari, Promising Young Woman, Trial of the Chicago 7, and I don't know if this is in the 6th place, but I'm doing Judas and the Black Messiah as my 5th.
Okay. And Rachel, what about you?
So I dropped Mank, so that's gonna be my pick for surprise of the day. I don't know if it's gonna happen though. But I might put it back because it's a movie about making movies, so I don't know. I'm struggling a lot because I can't figure out really how strong is Mank. So I'll say, I guess, Mank, Minari, Promising Young Woman, Sound of Metal, Trial of Chicago 7.
So you're keeping Mank.
Yeah, I think it's gonna, I guess ultimately I think it's gonna do well because it's a movie about making movies, but I don't feel like it's that strong because it's really only the front runner to win in production design, and that's it, which is not really very strong in my mind. So I'm looking for a place where it could really underperform, but I'll keep it in screenplay.
Rob?
I'm looking at my predictions, and I'm gonna, the one, I don't know why this one's stuck in my head, so I stuck it in anyway, and I'm probably going to be dead wrong, but I'm picking Another Round, Mank, Minari, Promising Young Woman, and The Trial of Chicago 7 is my 5, and then the 6 I'm picking Sound of Metal.
And then Erik?
Interesting,
Oh.
Rob.
I forgot to FYC.
My like FYC is going to be like in the predicted nominees because they're in my like best of the year. So I have, where are we original? Trial, Promising Young Woman, Minari, Mank, and Sound of Metal. But that last spot is either Metal or Judas and the Black Messiah. But I mean, if I had an FYC, it would be Minari or Promising Young Woman because those are my top 5. So
If I was going to FYC something that's not in my list, I would FYC Soul.
Cesco, what about your predictions?
So I guess kind of like Rob, I had the same sort of like train of thought. I put in Another Round, Judas and the Black Messiah, Mank, Promising Young Woman, and Trial of Chicago 7. Although I had Minari up until like yesterday instead of Mank. But then in sort of like thinking how much the Academy likes that demographic, I was like, it's probably not going to happen. So yeah.
John, your prediction for original screenplay?
I have Mank, Minari, Trial of Chicago 7, Promising Young Woman, and then my last one is kind of my FYC, and that's Never, Rarely, Sometimes, Always.
Okay, that would be my FYC outside of
that. Would be awesome.
Yeah,
absolutely. That's more hope dicting than probably predicting, but
oh yeah, totally.
No, it's. I think it's got a good chance too because
it's on the map. Yeah,
it did similarly to First Cow at the beginning with New York and.
So that's great and a great FYC.
I am predicting Mank to get snubbed here. I have Trial of Chicago 7, Promising Young Woman, Minari, Sound of Metal, and Judas and the Black Messiah. So I feel like Sound of Metal and Judas are both like peaking at the right time, and Mank is not. And I know that, David Fincher's father, it'll be a posthumous nomination, but I just don't see any passion for the movie. And even though it is a movie about movies, about one of the greatest movies of all time, like I need to make room for other things, and so I was bye Mank.
Also, I thought the screenplay was one of the weaker parts of the movie.
Yeah.
Not to shit on the dead, but I could see that, Alfie. I'm still predicting it, but I could see that.
Yeah.
And my FYC for this category would be the 40-year-old version.
Yes.
Although I'm also like kind of secretly hoping that Barb and Star go to Vista Del Mar. I mean, it's not going to show up, but like it'd be amazing. They're previous nominees.
They are.
The only thing that keeps me from a Mank snub is that it's not just about movies, it's about a writer. And the writing branch not siding with the writer in that story seems so unlike them.
Yeah.
If it happens, if it's a snub, oh my God, it's going to be a big one and incredible.
Yeah.
Another movie I liked that doesn't have a chance here, but that I'll shout out is Palm Springs.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
I
would be a
loved
great
it.
nomination too.
The WGA nomination, I feel, is very much on brand with WGA, where they always
Yeah.
nominate that one comedy where it's like, it's not going to translate to Oscar, but
Yeah. No, it got that an ace exactly like anybody worth their weight in doing this would be able to predict.
yeah. Exactly.
But I really love Cesco and Rob's prediction of another round in there. That's going to factor later into my predictions. And I do think that movie has incredible spoiler potential in several categories.
I just feel like there's so much appeal in terms of what the film is about and who the voters are.
You mean middle-aged alcoholics?
Middle-aged alcoholics, yeah.
Yeah,
So
okay.
basically,
Yeah.
I feel like a big chunk of who's voting for this will be very sort of like compelled in terms of like, I see myself in this.
And they will be drunk when they're clicking their choices.
Yeah, that was really my thinking. And then
Yeah.
I guess I also have spoilers related to the movie later on, but yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm with you there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's been hugely successful, like in Europe, and yeah, it kind of swept the European Oscars, and yeah, so.
And I think if Cannes had happened normally, it would have been there and done extremely well.
Yeah.
And we would be looking at a Cold War Paul Polakowski situation.
We would be looking at Cannes Best Actor winner Mads Mikkelsen, I think. So yeah, that was also part of my thinking.
He's also just like a meme factory. Like people just love him and post about him all the time. Not that the Academy is super online, but he's all over the internet.
Yeah. And a fascinating interview. He's just so weird because he does it from his iPad and it's all just like this, like stared down, and he just like smokes and drinks and he's just like, whatever. I love it. I want him and Alan Kim to do like an actors on actors.
Well, speaking of lead actor, that's our next category. Our best lead actor. Matt, why don't you start us off with your 5?
Right. I have Riz Ahmed, Chadwick Boseman, Anthony Hopkins, Stephen Yeun, and then I've been going back and forth about the 5th spot, and I'm just going to go boring and say Gary Oldman for Mank, which I don't want to see happen, but I don't see any of the other contenders securely in that 5th spot. So I'm going to be boring and do that.
John, what about you?
I have Riz Ahmed, Gary Oldman, Chadwick Boseman, Anthony Hopkins, and Stephen Yeun, though part of me wants to swap him out. But I mean, I don't want to swap him out. I want him to get nominated. Please, God, get him nominated. But I just don't trust the Academy to not be shitty. Yeah, that's my 5. I'll just stop there.
Erik, what about you?
I have a pretty traditional 5, as well. Boseman, Ahmed, Hopkins, Yeun, and Oldman. Although I think Oldman's grasp on this is very tenuous. It is right there with Mads Mikkelsen just waiting to kick him out. BAFTA nominee, Mads Mikkelsen.
Rob?
I'm going to be boring too. I have Ahmed, Boseman, Hopkins, Oldman, and Yoon, and like Oldman feels like the least, seems shaky, but I'm gonna stick with him just because of the lazy voters that's just going to pick him, and also the one that I see that potentially could, because there's been a lot of comments, but I could see maybe Lindo taking Oldman's spot. I mean, I think it's a long shot, but if Oldman's not going to get nominated, I would say I think it's Delroy Lindo is going to take that spot, but I'm going to stick with Ahmed, Boseman, Hopkins.
Would be amazing.
Yeah, but I wouldn't be shocked.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's still a Hail Mary, but it would be.
Oh, totally.
But you could track it. He's got SAG, so but
Yeah,
that
I'm
one-
I'm being safe and on this prediction, but I think that would be amazing if he could sneak in.
Rachel, what about your 5?
I have the same 5, Ahmed, Bozeman, Hopkins, Oldman, Yoon.
And Francesco.
Okay, so I went a little bit NG here. I think we all have like the first 3, Ahmed, Bozeman, and Hopkins.
Mhm.
Yeah, so my last 2 are Delroy Lindo and Mads Mikkelsen.
Wow, that would be
Nice.
Yeah, that
So
would be-
I have the same 3. I have Yoon, but I also have Delroy Lindo.
Mm.
So I agree with Rob about how Oldman's like, and I think there was enough like groundswell support for where's Delroy Lindo that I'm hoping, this is maybe
Yeah.
a hope diction, but yeah, that's and
Who's gonna
my
put Gary Oldman number 1 on their ballot, apart from Gary Oldman? I can't really imagine people feeling like, yes, this was my favorite male leading performance of the year. I can't.
Well, I
But
think a lot of old
it happens.
voters
Old-
will vote for him. He's a previous
Old
mayor.
alcoholics.
And the thing I think about Mank, I'm predicting
Old
Mank.
alcoholics are gonna go for Matt.
I'm predicting Mank to do well, just because one, there's not a lot of like the News of the World fizzled. There's not a lot of like traditional studio Oscar bait movies, and also Mank's about Hollywood, and Oscars love fucking movies about Hollywood. So I think he's safer than we might think.
Yeah, I mean, I still think he's 4 or 5, but
Mhm.
yeah, it's I would have taken him out if I didn't feel that he was safe. So
I
But it
mean,
would be
one
really
of the
funny to have
reasons
2
why
old alcoholics get in.
I feel like one of the reasons why Mank kind of fizzled is that because people were expecting it to be a movie about movies and it wasn't. And it didn't really live up to what people wanted it to be. It ended up being like this sort of like meandering kind of like story about like his political views, and it did not really fulfill what people were imagining it was going to be and what they wanted to get out of it. And so yeah, I just don't feel like there's really any momentum behind it anymore.
No,
I
it feels like The Irishman.
Mhm.
Oh, I don't-
Yeah, in a way, yeah.
And I agree. It was like no one's really excited about the movie, but I think it fills a vacuum for lazy voters. It's like the movie that
Yeah.
should have been the front runner, and it's clearly not good enough to be the front runner. So, but it's such a weird year, and there's not these big studio movies to fill in on nomination lists. So I think they'll just be an easy check the box nominee.
Yeah, and what's weird is that even if it gets snubs in more than one place, it's still likely going to be the nomination leader, but it's going to be the most passionless one.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
It's going to be heavy on tech, right?
yeah.
Sure,
No,
I'm predicting at least one snub there.
I have it only getting 6 nominations.
I could totally see
That would be really shocking.
Yeah, I took it out of a lot of categories.
Mm.
I took it out of editing, which is probably stupid, but I don't care.
No, I don't think it's that stupid.
Not after Minari got in.
It needed more editing, so but also potential historic nominations for both Ahmed and Yoon.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Very, very big.
I mean, Bozeman, Ahmed, Yoon all getting in would be Oscar history.
Mhm.
Yep.
Mhm.
There's a lot of history in
And throw in if Lindo does it, then that's another
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
example.
Could happen.
FYCs in this category.
John Magaro, First Cow.
Mads for me.
My FYC is for a movie that no one has seen called Tiger Tail, which is on Netflix. And it would be for Zima, who is known for, he was in Mulan this year as the dad. and he was in The Farewell as the dad. He plays a lot of dads, and so really great in that movie. But it is Oscar eligible, but it's also like non-existent. So
Right.
Yeah.
Cool.
all right. So if we are done with lead actor, that means we can move on to Rachel's favorite category, international
Yes.
feature film. So
I have no predictions.
Cesco, if you can start us off in this category.
Okay, so I actually did a little bit of reading just to see like how the screenings were going, and this is based on that. So I have Quo Vadis Aida, Another Round, La Llorona, A Son, and The Man Who Sold His Skin.
All right, Erik.
My brain is on fire here because I only have 2 movies remaining from like my last month of predictions. I did a total flip-flop. And actually I had A Son at number 3 and then I dropped it and I feel really stupid about that. I had La Llorona in there and then I dropped that for I'm No Longer Here. So I've got Another Round, Quo Vadis Aida, Dear Comrades, I'm No Longer Here, and Night of the Kings, which I had early on, like top 3, and then I dropped it for months, and then now it's back in. I'm just trying to look at it from a very geographical perspective. There's only a couple of films from Africa, that and the Tunisian Man Who Sold Skin.
Yeah.
And I think one of them is getting in. I think one of them, but Cesco's right. The response to
The Tunisian one had an amazing response. All the screenings were like, yeah.
So it's I think one of them is in, but same with La Llorona and I'm No Longer Here. One of those will represent Latin, Central America, South America, but probably not both. Dear Comrades is topical, has BAFTA, it's on Hulu, it's black and white, it has all of these other like little things. It showed up at the Spotlight section of ASC. So I just think there's chances. Because anything after Another Round and Quo Vadis, I don't even know now.
Yeah. La Llorona is on Shudder too, so it's pretty available to people that want to get around it.
It's on HBO Max too.
Yeah, so they did a good job sort of like putting it out there, and it's really good.
Well, it's
a horror movie, but it's really good. Yeah.
I mean, that's going to be a pretty big obstacle, even for that group.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rob, what are your predictions?
I think I have the same 5 as Erik. Another Round, Dear Comrade, Quo Vadis Aida, Night of Kings, and I'm No Longer Here. Those are 5. So I'm just going with those.
John?
This is total guesswork, but I have Another Round, La Llorona, Dear Comrades, Quo Vadis Aida, and The Man Who Sold His Skin.
Matt?
Yeah, I didn't do as much reading on this. I just looked at the short list and whatever I recognized is what I predicted. So I have Another Round, Collective, I'm No Longer Here, Quo Vadis Aida, 2 of Us.
Rachel, do you have predictions for this category?
I got up and got the dog. I don't have
Got a
predictions.
puppy!
What's
All right.
really weird? What's really weird is looking at this category and looking at my predictions and not having anything from East Asia right after we just had the first Korean winner, and then
Should have kept A Son.
Exactly. I should have put A Son back in or kept it back in because I don't feel good.
I'm pretty sure it's in. I'm pretty sure it's actually 3rd.
I had it 3rd literally the Friday before I did this. I'm such a dumbass. Which is something I will say in 12 hours.
My predictions are Another Round, Quo Vadis Aida, Night of the Kings, I'm No Longer Here, and I have The Mole Agent from Chile.
I shoved all that stuff into documentary, including Notturno from Italy and Collective, because they did the last time that I think a bunch of documentaries were submitted here. Like some of them actually made it into documentary instead of foreign film.
And then,
So-
we know that Honeyland is the only film that's ever done both.
Yeah,
So it's possible. So
Yeah.
there's
it's
precedent.
possible.
And we have
Yeah.
3 movies. One
I-
of them is stronger than the others, but
Yeah.
I know we're not doing documentary, but I have the Mole Agent here, but I have collective in documentary
Hmm.
just because I don't know what to do. So
I have all 3 in documentary. Yeah,
I'm glad we're not doing documentary because that
it was not fun. Yeah, it's a tough one.
so
I think it's tougher this year than almost any in recent memory because there's a lot of super popular, well-known films that all
Yeah.
fall into the category of genres that the branch hates.
Yeah.
So it could be so fucked up.
yeah. Trying to see if there's anything else from that category. No. I don't have an FYC because my FYC was eligible last year and then we danced, so
Mhm.
Oh, very cute. Yeah.
Yeah, I hate that movie's basically suffered the. Yeah.
it was the last movie I saw before the pandemic closed everything. So
I love that movie so much.
so good.
Well, that's better. My last movie that I saw in theaters was Cats. So
Oh,
Mine was Parasite.
mine was Ford versus Ferrari. On the Friday before the Oscars. It was the last Best Picture I needed to see. So that was the last movie I saw in the theater.
I
Portrait of a Lady on
actually
Fire.
went and saw Tenet in Napa County in the only open theater in like the North Bay.
What is up with the Bay Area? There is the closest theater to me is a drive-in in San Jose, which is like 50 some odd miles, and I'm fucking not going to drive to there's no movie I want to see that.
Yeah, I drove an hour for Tenet, so
Yeah, well,
who's the idiot?
I'm not driving to fucking San Jose to see some movie. There's nothing. San Francisco, we are completely shut down. There is nothing open.
Although I just got my first in-person press screening invitation in obviously a year.
For here?
It's for like an in-person, but it's a 25% capacity, screening, and it's for
in San Francisco?
Yeah, in San Francisco.
What theater? Castro or?
No. The press screenings are
press
usually
screening.
like the Dolby Theater or
okay.
or something like that.
Oh, cool.
And it's for like a Bob Odenkirk action movie, and I'm just like,
wow.
go ahead.
Right. Doesn't sound like something you'd want to risk yourself.
Not driving 90 minutes.
Yeah.
The drive-in here is playing Nomadland, so I'm really tempted to go back and see it.
See, that would be a great movie to see at a drive-in.
Totally.
Yeah.
In your van with your shit bucket, and like, there you go. Don't confuse it with your popcorn bucket. Yeah.
Speaking of leading actress, we're moving on.
This is the easiest category for me.
Yeah.
The only one.
Eric, go ahead.
Carey Mulligan, Frances McDormand, Andra Day, Viola Davis, Vanessa Kirby.
I have the same 5. Does anyone have any?
I don't know how you couldn't.
I have the same 5.
Could.
I have the same 5, but I'm not convinced that these are the 5.
Who would be the one that you would think is the shakiest of the 5?
I think both Day and Kirby can drop easily.
I see Kirby dropping more than Day.
Me too. I have Kirby in 5th, and I have Day at number 2.
Yeah.
Matt, do you have the same 5?
Yeah, and I know, like, even though Vanessa Kirby has probably done the most well as Frances McDormand in terms of precursors, like, I still think she's in 5th place, and that's kind of weird. But I just don't know who's in 6th place to replace her, so I still have her in there.
Yeah, this category is so vexing to me because the 2 that have hit everywhere everyone's agreed have no chance of winning, which is McDormand and Kirby. So that seems really strange to me. So part of me wants to do a No Guts, No Glory and pick Sophia Loren just for the chaos of it. And it was like, if Diane Warren's winning for that fucking song, like, someone's thinking about that movie.
No.
But like, I also know that never happens, and that would be like unprecedented. And yeah, so I have the same 5, but I do have Kirby at 5th.
Yeah, I
This-
have McDormand in 4th and Kirby at 5th, and somebody in my comments was like, McDormand is 1st or 2nd. She's not 4th. What the fuck is wrong with you? And I'm like, have you ever like watched this category before? Say hi to Amy Adams.
I actually have Davis in 4th.
That's fair.
Yeah,
have her in
I
3rd.
do. I do too. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think she's as much of a contender as people have.
You have
No,
Mulligan. Is Mulligan
suggested.
first? Who has Mulligan at first? Does
I
everybody
do.
have?
I
everybody have-
do.
Okay.
I would have probably said McDormand, but she just won. So I think that, yeah. And sort of like Mulligan is also like the kind of person that they like to reward here
Yeah, I
when
have.
they get the chance to do that.
Yeah, I have McDormand at 2nd. Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
I still think Francis. There's a path, but it's a very.
Sure.
It's an unlikely path, but I think there's a path. My 6th place, which I'm just like the only other actress I can think of that had any kind of anything besides these 5 was Rosamund Pike. So I have her in 6, but I think that's a distant 6. I think this.
I have Amy in 6.
Yeah, I think it's much more realistic with SAG and BAFTA long list.
Yeah. That was exactly, yeah. I looked at the long list for BAFTA, and that was sort of like more helpful than the actual nominations.
Absolutely. That's where we all should really kind of have. I know we're just going to dismiss BAFTA pretty much, but there are things you can really cherry pick well.
Oh yeah, the
Both
nominations, yeah, but
and
the
even
long list,
the long list is really where it's at.
yeah, and Day was not on the long list, so that also, yeah.
I know, which is crazy. But
Yeah.
neither was Minari in Best Film.
Right.
Neither was He Who Shall Not Be Named in Supporting Actor. So.
Mm-hmm. And those were
Right.
chapter based, just like the Oscars do.
The fact that Minari did not make that long list is very, very
Racist.
concerning. Yeah, it's very
Yeah.
concerning for me. Yeah.
Yeah. It was
It's
pretty
just, I feel like it's a sign of things to come. And then we're going to like in 12 hours, be like, why did we think that anything would change?
No,
But
I don't
yeah,
but yeah.
we'll see.
Yeah. I actually have Sydney Flanagan in 6th.
He would be.
as a
He would be
spoiler.
the. Oh God, that would be the best. That would probably restore a little bit of my faith back into the academy if they put her
She's
in.
my FYC.
She's just.
She is also my FYC.
Wait, I'm
She's
sorry.
My
Keith Hudson
FYC is
my
Carrie
FYC.
Coon.
She's the
Oh,
best.
Carrie Coon is mine too.
Yeah.
I
Oh, I
think
know.
one day eventually she'll get an Oscar nomination.
No, I never saw that. Is that The Nest?
The Nest. She
Okay.
is beyond amazing.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
needs to get in for that dance scene.
Alone at the club.
Just for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, I mean, if you
That
play
was-
Small
that
Town Boy
was
in a
the
movie,
moment.
you got me.
Yeah.
So
My FYC is BAFTA nominee Rada Blank for the 40-year-old version because that was amazing. I saw her reaction to the nominations or the video clip, and it was amazing. So
she's great.
I love her. Hope-
My FYC is Kate Hudson for music.
Yes.
You people, I swear to God.
She got Golden Globe nominated over Meryl Streep.
She shaved her head.
That's real acting.
That's commitment it takes to have a short haircut.
And I can't. My God.
Over who else missed? Kristen Milioti.
Yeah. And yeah. It's.
Rashida Jones, Round the Rocks.
I mean,
Yeah.
literally anybody. I'm sorry, but anybody would
Yeah.
have been better.
No, this Flanagan would be amazing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel decently good about this 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't, but yeah.
This is the only category I feel good about,
Yeah.
which means it's not going to happen.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, Kirby's the only one that I see potentially not making it. Other than that, I think I'm very confident with Davis, Day, McDormand, Mulligan. Definitely, I think those are pretty locked in. But Kirby's the one that I'm like,
She
But-
doesn't
Would
really
anybody have Day if she didn't win the Globe? Because then she didn't show up at SAG. She didn't show up at BAFTA.
I would
and even won
I
Best
would have her in 5th.
You would?
Flip
Yeah.
it, yeah.
Yeah.
Just on the strength of one Globe nomination.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right.
And that would be, I mean, for lack of a better or gentler way to say it, it would be just for the diversity factor.
Yeah.
It
I
is a
totally
good
get it.
performance in a really bad film, and
Yeah.
that just won this award last year.
Yep.
The obvious ability to have 2 Black actresses in for the first time since 1972. I think there are some people that do make those type of considerations. Most don't, but I think some do.
And she's playing a prominent, famous person.
Right.
She's playing, yeah, she's got that.
More
really.
famous than Ma Rainey.
And that was such a surprising win that that if she was not on their radar, she certainly was. And everybody had to just go onto Hulu and watch that movie very easy and go like, oh, I could see why she won. She was great. And didn't even think about, the movie being kind of okay. So I think that definitely put her right up there.
Yeah. It turned her film into a must see.
Yep, absolutely.
Above others.
when she got the Globe nomination, I put her into my 5th slot. So that was even before she actually won.
Oh yeah, me too. She was in my top 5 for a little while.
Yeah.
But I also saw it before. I saw it like in November or something.
Yeah, that's when I dropped a certain actress from Malcolm and Marie.
Oh
Yeah.
boy, that was a
Oh, wow.
24-hour. My God, she's gonna win. That hype didn't last. That was like 24 hours and she was done.
Like completely reactionary responses from
Oh.
pundits like that cracked me up so much. Because it happened from like some very high profile people
Oh, they were saying get ready.
that I respect, and it was just like, oh, Zendaya's #1 now. I'm like,
Oh yeah, they were telling her to get her acceptance speech already.
no. She can get her macaroni and cheese ready, but that's it.
I haven't seen it, so I have no opinion.
Me neither. There's
It's
She's
about-
great. I love her.
No, I'll eventually
Amazing
get
at
to.
it.
I'll eventually get to it. I just have a few more of these to get through, but more on the foreign language films and a few odds and ends. But
Yeah.
I'll wait on that one since it's not going to get anything.
Now, before we get to Best Picture and Best Director, we missed one acting category. So now we
Oh,
go back to
Ugh.
supporting actor.
Which one did we miss?
oh,
No, we're
I
done.
think-
That's
I think we
it.
did
That's it.
all.
We're
I think we did
good.
them all.
I thought they canceled that category because they just
Yeah,
didn't
it's
Yeah, they're not having it
It's
this year.
back.
gonna have it this year.
It's actually in the Emporium this year. So
We're gonna do a
weird.
salute to
Memoriam
Diane
this
Lees.
year.
Oh God.
I just have never. This category is just beyond.
This is the hardest. Where actress was the easiest for me. This
By
is the
far.
hardest of all 23 for me.
Mhm.
By far.
It could go so many ways.
What I was telling Alfie is that I can see a scenario in which either the same person or 2 different people win the upcoming SAG and BAFTA and neither get nominated. And that is crazy. Like I can see Bakalova taking both or Bakalova and YJ splitting and both missing. Like we could come in and like everybody who's won anything is not nominated at all. It's crazy.
I know in the other categories, a lot of us have been agreeing, but I think this might be the one category where we're going to have 7 different lists. So, John, start us off.
Cesco has to go last because he's having a panic attack right now.
He said, get the paper bag.
After staring at this category a ton of times, I've decided my new prediction is that it will not surprise us. So I have Bakalova, Close, Coleman. I'm going to pick Amanda Seyfried from Mank because I think it's going to overperform, and then Yeon Jung from Minari.
All right.
So I'm picking a category. My prediction now is that it will not surprise us. That it'll be like, oh,
Wait, okay, so you have Okay.
It's what we thought it was
Gotcha.
in January.
Rob, go ahead.
Okay, so I'm picking Bakalova, Glenn Close, Olivia Colman, and I'm going to be easily influenced by the Globe and pick Jodie Foster and then Young Jun for Minari. So those are my 5. I am predicting that Seaweed or whatever, however you pronounce your last name is I think she's not going to make it. But like John said, I won't be surprised what happens. So, but right now I am predicting that Amanda is not going to make it. So I'm going with Bakalova, Close, Coleman, Foster, and Young.
Matt, your turn.
I have Bakalova, Close, Coleman, Yoon, and then Jodie Foster. And I would just like to say that my no guts, no glory on Golden Globes was that Jodie Foster is going to win, because I have seen her promoting that movie everywhere. And she did an amazing interview on Mark Maron's podcast that I loved. And so I was really not that surprised that she won the Globe. And I just think she's been out there campaigning. So I feel pretty comfortable predicting her for this.
So Matt and Rob have the same 5. So
yes.
We have one agreement there. Rachel.
My list is Bakalova, who I have stuck with this entire time. I know that it is
so have I
anti-Academy genre, but she has, I think, gone above and beyond at this point in the precursors, and I expect her to win the BAFTA. I have Bakalova, Close, Coleman, Foster, and Eugene. So I do not have Seyfried, and the reason that I don't is because the SAG snub to me gave me flashbacks to Andrew Garfield and Shailene Woodley, where they were 2 people in, pretty famous movie stars who were in movies that were winning everything left and right and were supposedly locks and then missed at SAG. And that was the red flag that they were not as much of a lock as we thought that they were. So that's why I chose to drop her and stick with this 5.
So 3 of you have the same 5. All right, Erik.
I actually have the same 5. It's really crazy because I think honestly there are only 2 safe bets here, even though my ranking doesn't necessarily reflect that. And I think it's Yujung and Coleman are the only 2 really actually safe. I think everybody else is up in the air. I do have Bakalova. She has gone the distance. And I was the opposite. I refused to put her in my top 5 until like 2 weeks ago. And I still feel like she is extremely vulnerable, regardless of what she wins. But she is at least in a movie that has chances other places. This isn't a, Tiffany Haddish. This is something else entirely. But I still think that she's not safe. But yes, so I have Foster and I have Close. The stats in favor of Foster are really, really, really good. But yeah, looking at what each person here has gotten and what they've missed is bananas, because Bakalova is the only one that hit everywhere, even though her Globe was in lead. I do think Amanda Seyfried is just outside of that list, but good Lord, it's going to be a nail biter, and I hope that they don't go alphabetical. I hope they just kind of.
I hate you.
Yeah, well.
So my predictions are: I have Coleman, Close, Yujung, Foster. I don't think Seyfried's in. I've spent the whole season not predicting Bakalova, and if she gets in, great. My 5th prediction is Dominique Fishback, because I think Judas and the Black Messiah is peaking at the right time. I know BAFTA's weird with the nominations, but I had previously said that if she shows up there, I would predict her. And I know it's not really anything, but I'm just gonna go with it. So I have Bakalova in 6.
Right.
Cesco.
What? Okay. I have Bakalova. I have Long Gloves. Olivia Colman.
Who? I didn't catch that.
I have YYJ, and then I have Dominic Fishback as well.
Hmm. God, I hesitated with her. I went back and forth with
Fishback
Fishback.
and on Delroy Lindo, so we're going to be correct.
Yeah.
Yes. But I have Judah's really overperforming, kind of like across the board.
Okay.
I just have a feeling. I don't know. I just have a feeling that this category is so crazy that something crazy is about to is bound to happen. And I know that it's that crazy, and I could definitely see Foster or Seyfried like getting that spot. I haven't seen Foster. I just feel like Seyfried is kind of like a nothing performance. I didn't even like Fishback that much, but I just feel like there's more momentum behind Judas now, especially with Kaluuya doing so well, than there ever was behind Mank. So, and then Seyfried, sort of like the SAG snub I think everybody was expecting her to make it in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It isn't like, because Fishback didn't make it in either, but I don't think people were predicting her at SAG. But we were all predicting Seyfried, and that didn't happen. And I think SAG and BAFTA are really the two places where there's voter crossover. So yeah.
Unless you're Emily Blunt.
Unless you're, well, I mean that category that year was its own thing. But
any year for her.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fishback was good, but it is not a hope diction. This is just me purely looking at Judas because she's not even in my top 20.
Right.
But I do think that it's peaking at the right time. And, if she didn't get in at BAFTA, I might have entertained Ellen Burstyn as a possible spoiler here. Also in the Laura Dern Wild type of way. But I don't know. My
I would love Burstyn
is still Swanky. So
yes,
Swanky.
Yes, my FYC is Swanky or Talia Ryder.
Yeah.
Both really good. Yeah.
And it's amazing that Zengel got Globe and SAG, and just that movie fell off the cliff after that.
That's really it for me. It's just
Yeah.
like there's nothing wrong with her trajectory. It's just like the movie completely fell off a cliff.
Yeah.
And she hasn't won anything.
I can't see a kid getting it.
I'll say this though, my grandmother just watched it. And she's 91, and her takeaway from the movie was how great Helena Zengel was. And
I don't doubt it.
She had nothing really to say about Tom Hanks.
Yeah, but with News of the World,
she
not getting into
loved
the-
Helena Zengel, but
with
she's
News
a
of the
Z. She'll be at the bottom of the list.
Then she started losing those like young performer awards, and that was kind of like, what is going on?
Her
So,
response when Alan Kim won is like one of those like Talia Shire, Sally Kirkland level, like the fuck is that?
You can tell the people around her were saying, you're good. You're good for this.
Yeah, well, same with Diane Warren. When she lost, her response was amazing.
Oh, I need to watch that.
It was absolute shock.
Diane Warren losing is my kink.
Then you are eating well, John.
No, one last thing I'll say, I know Seyfried is not considered strong, but the reason I picked her again is I think Mank is going to overperform. It's the most traditionally, maybe that in Trial of Chicago 7 that the Oscars usually go for. And on paper, everything about the performance is something that they would normally go for. And doing nothing in a role has not stopped them from nominating someone before or allowing them to win.
I think
won't
she's
say,
great.
I won't
Just
say
last
who I'm
year.
referencing.
I'm not on board with the nothing performance from her. I think she's wonderful.
Oh, she's definitely does.
She's definitely there.
She showed up on set.
She's definitely
More
in it.
lines.
She knew her line, as far as we know. No, she's fine. She's good, but
That was brutal.
He's definitely sitting a lot.
She showed up her hair and makeup.
but she's playing an old Hollywood actress, like
Yeah.
a real person.
Yeah.
She's luminously shot. Like those types of things, I think sometimes impact voters.
I was 100% sure that she was in before I watched the movie, and then I watched the movie, and I was, apart from the fact that I was like, what is this? But she's in like 4 scenes, and one of them she doesn't even have any lines. It's very much a kind of thing for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but she has to close the movie with him in that great moment. So, you know, I don't know.
I still think that she is like not out of it. I do think that.
Oh yeah.
No, she's
really,
in.
really, like close to getting in, but 100% she's not winning anymore. Like,
Yeah,
no way.
She was my number 1 for so long.
I had her winning the Globe. I had her like.
Me too. I had her doing the whole run as the coronation of the like former ingenue.
Yeah.
She's not 20 anymore. She's like 35, which is old in Academy years.
And this is not the category where that tends to happen. I feel like that tends to happen in actress more so than than here. So
And we can't even say who's going to win until we know for sure who the nominees are.
I know. And
That's the crazy
even
thing.
then, I really do want to see this category to go to somebody different in every precursor. I want it so much.
I mean, I think it's a possibility. I really do.
This is giving lots of 2007 vibes.
Which year?
Which will be our next Oscar flashback Zoom. So
When
2007 is killed up.
Yeah. And in that case, they went with BAFTA. So
but she was also in the stronger movie that was only really competitive there.
Mm-hmm.
It was a combination of like, it is my favorite supporting like win. Give it or take what happens this year. But
in that comparison,
yeah,
we only have Bakalova and Yu Jung. So what if and clearly
that's why I think they're
Minari's the stronger film.
Yep.
Which is why I have her at number 1.
Yep.
Minari for me is a complete question mark because
it's not
there. I feel like it gets like 1 or 2 nominations, and we're like, that kind of tracks because that's what they've been doing with these movies like since 1927, and then all of a sudden she's no longer the favorite. So I don't know. It is not on the movie at all. Minari is a perfectly wonderful movie. It's just that it's not the kind of movie that they ever voted for.
My concern before was also just A24 sucks with campaigning, but this year, like, I think with everything that happened, and they clearly dropped First Cow as any kind of priority.
Yeah.
So I think this might be the year that they pull it off.
And the reason is because the Zoom era has helped Minari more than any other film because they didn't have to fly everybody to Los Angeles for multiple events, you know, and they've had the entire family in the film, except for like the oldest daughter, on these interviews and junkets and profiles. There are profiles for, you know, Alan S. Kim and Yoon Yoo-jung all over the place, and they have absolutely benefited from this era of campaigning more than other people traditionally have.
I just feel like that was also kind of what happened with The Farewell last year, where it was everywhere and they had everybody campaign the hell out of it, and Awkwafina won the Golden Globe, for Christ's sake, and then it's like the movie didn't exist.
And I think it's that reason that Minari will do so much better. And Parasite winning without any of the actors getting in. There are clearer lines with Minari than there were with Parasite for performances
yeah, I guess really my main concern for Minari is really related to the acting nominations. I can definitely, like, in an extended sort of like Best Picture category, I think it definitely has a spot. It's just in sort of like the scenario that I have in my mind with how things have historically panned out in acting, where Stephen Yeun would be the first one. Yoon Jun would be the third one ever. There's a lot to overcome.
There absolutely is. And it could break down so many ways. It could be just one, it could be three.
Yeah.
It could be so many things.
Alan Kim would be the fifth. Like the best supporting actor is the category that has the least pathetic kind of like track record there, but that it's like it would be the fifth one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think what helps the film overall is that despite what the Golden Globes say, it is a very American film.
Yeah.
And I think that the fact that Stephen Yeun is a pretty well-known actor, I think. Granted, not necessarily like A-list, but has definitely, they know who he is, I feel like. So he's been doing pretty consistent work. So
yeah, the SAG nominations it got were just like more than enough for me, because it's not the kind of movie that traditionally gets those and that many. So
I think they were smart because they split it up so that basically there's only one of a Minari performer in each of the 4 acting categories. And I think the problem with Parasite, whether it was justified or not as an ensemble piece, was the racist Academy members couldn't be bothered to learn which name matched with which performer, and that hurt them. But now if they're scrolling down and they're thinking, I want to vote for Minari everywhere, they've got one option in each.
Essentially,
basically, yeah.
Is anybody concerned that Minari was not on the long list of BAFTA, let alone the nomination, but he wasn't even in the 15?
Yeah.
No, not really. I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
I am, but I mean, I've really looked at BAFTA very closely, between what was chapter voting, what was everybody, what was the 7 to 12 jury, because the jury came in and was created very specifically to right the wrongs that possibly the long lists provided. And it gave, nominees that were very like old school BAFTA, which was heavily British and small movies, 2 of them that aren't even Oscar eligible, and then an extremely diverse non-white number of.
That's my concern. Picture of BAFTA is the only one that everybody voted for. Like,
yeah.
So, and it was not even long listed.
Yes, I know.
White Tiger was.
I know.
Mauritanian. Mauritanian. Yeah, Mauritanian ended up getting a nomination too. Yeah. It's really, really concerning to me.
I totally get that. I guess you have to decide who is more racist, BAFTA or AMPAS.
Both. They're kind of like the same. People that vote for one kind of vote for the other. So yeah.
Yeah. I can't argue with that.
Yeah.
I don't think Eileen Atkins is in the Academy, but whatever.
Oh my God.
Dame Eileen Atkins, my apologies.
Damn Eileen Atkins.
Come on, Eileen.
Come on, Eileen. God damn it, John.
Anyway, I hate this category. It's ruined my life, and we can move on.
Yeah.
Best director.
Oh my God.
Also a hard one, I feel.
Yeah. This category is crazy.
Yes. Matt, why don't you start us off in Best Director?
All right, I have Lee Isaac Chung for Minari, Emerald Fennell, Promising Young Woman, Aaron Sorkin, Trial of the Chicago 7, Chloe Zhao, Nomadland. And then for 5th place, I'm just going to do No Guts, No Glory, Regina King, One Night in Miami, because everyone loves Regina King, and hopefully it'll translate to a director nomination.
So no Fincher?
Yes.
Okay. John, what are your 5?
I have Sorkin, Fennel, Fincher, Lee Isaac Chung, and Chloe Zhao.
All right.
Though part of me is like, will they actually do it? Will they actually nominate 2 women in the same year, just given their shitty track record with this category? I know Emerald is like very well set up to make it happen, but part of me is like, oh, they're gonna throw in like a green grass, just like something totally to fuck us all up. But I'm still predicting her, but that's in the back of my mind.
Cesco?
Okay. So I have Thomas Vinterberg, Emerald Fennell, Spike Lee, Chloe Zhao, and Aaron Sorkin.
Ooh.
Can you say that one more time?
The 2 that are making you poop your pants are Vinterberg and Spike Lee.
Right. Who do you have in it? Who are the other 3 that you have?
Emerald, Chloe, and Aaron Sorkin.
Okay.
No Fincher, no Chung.
Got it. My mind was like, wait, Spike Lee.
That was like a 2012 moment, like
I know,
just
I was like-
realizing that Affleck and Bigelow weren't there, which is I think is totally going to happen.
Yeah.
Rob, you're 5.
So I have Fincher, Chung, Zhao, Fennell, and Vinterberg. I do not have Sorkin. I think Sorkin is not getting in. That's just my thing. So, and again, I don't know with this why I'm on this another round kick, but
I'm with you.
see if we're so Fincher, he's probably my number. He's actually my 5th. But I think based on the merits and the whole, however you felt about Mank, it was quite an achievement. So, and they like him, and so
That it was.
whether you like it or not. So Fincher, Chung, Zhao, Vinterberg, and Fennell. And I'd love to see Regina, but I don't think that's going to happen.
Rachel?
I'm struggling so much because the problem is that DGA fucked everything up for me because I wanted to predict Lee Isaac Chung to get in at the Oscars with no precursors and to slide him into that 5th slot, but then he got in at the DGA. So now the DGA nominees like match what my list was going to be. So now I don't know what to do. And there's part of me that still does not believe that Fennell is going to happen, but Regina King's movie seems to be going in the wrong direction. It does not seem to be going like this. It seems to be going like this. Despite how much everybody loves her, the director's branch just has a mind of its own completely. And she would also be the first acting winner to get in for directing if she gets in, right? All the other actors turned directors were not winners.
Yep.
And of course, the first Black woman to get in because Ava missed heartbreakingly. I'm really stuck. Like the DGA 5 has been my 5 for the longest time, but somebody talked me into an alternative.
It hasn't happened since 2009.
Yeah.
I know it's very, very unlikely. It's a better barometer for where we are with picture than anything else. But I don't know who, if it's not Regina, I don't think it's Spike Lee. I don't know if I'm on the Vinterberg train yet. Should I be?
There's usually a foreign guy that they
Yeah.
kind of like, yeah.
It's a gut. For
Land
me,
on.
it's a gut one. Same thing. It's probably the foreign language film winner.
Yeah.
Or I'm sorry,
Definitely.
international
Yeah.
feature. And it just has that. I don't know. It's just a gut. That's it.
But you have him over Sorkin, and
I have him over Sorkin. Yeah.
I don't necessarily like. I wouldn't necessarily replace one of the white guys with another guy.
That's why
because-
it's probably Chung.
Well, the
Because
reason
that
my
was my
fear-
thinking.
I'm
my
thinking that
fear is that it's Fennell or one of the record breakers.
see, I'm thinking that I don't know. I'm thinking that the directors are a bit of a snobby group, and they think of Aaron Sorkin as a writer and not a director. So that's why I'm just punting him. It's always that, well, the film directed itself kind of thing. So that's the only reason that I have him out, is I just, for some reason, I think the directors are not ready to embrace him as one of their own yet. That's just my personal opinion.
Erik, what about your predictions while Rachel's still mulling it over?
Well, Rob stole my look because I have Chloe Zhao, Lee Isaac Chung, Emerald Fennell, David Fincher, and Thomas Vinterberg, with Sorkin as the spoiler and the snub. I'm not going to go with the DGA 5. It's when I look at the 2009 list and what that 5 was, which was also the first woman winner, it doesn't look like that list. It doesn't feel like that list. Vinterberg is obviously the risky pick. I feel stronger about it even than I did at the beginning of the week when I started putting all of my final predictions together. I feel really good about it. And I'll feel great if it happens, obviously, just for, street credit, but I don't. I'd rather be right than risky, but still, it's not obviously the same as Cold War, and I'm not going to make a direct comparison. It's not apples to apples at all. But this is a group that does like to step outside with usually 1 and sometimes 2 from what's been lockstep to that point. And most everybody has been aligned. Everybody has, let me look. Everyone has Critics' Choice, DGA, and Golden Globe that's in my pick, except for Lee Isaac Chung. So he's an outlier there, but he made BAFTA without his film even being longlisted, which is one of those examples of why the jury did what they did.
Yeah.
I think that's the big reason. But at the same time, it's also a boost. It's a visibility. It's a boost. Vinterberg made it in too. Vinterberg is the only white male in the entire lineup of BAFTA director nominees. He made it in over Sorkin, whose film is in. He made it in over Fincher. It could have been anybody else. You can go to, well, it's a European group. Sure it is. But there are European voters in AMPAS. So I feel less that it's a risky pick now than I did before. I feel pretty good about it. And for the same reasons that Rob said about Sorkin, is that I can see it being like, we're not really there with you yet. It is a very middle of the road film. It is not directed with any very specific panache. It's very Green Book in that regard. And Fairley made DGA and then missed the Oscars. So I think we're looking at a 2018 or a 2012 year of some really big surprises. I love the Spike Lee prediction. I would love for it to happen. Because, especially since it took so long for them to nominate him, and now he's in there. But god damn if that movie has not just
died,
not gone the distance. And I'm so disappointed in it because, we're not going to have any early season films in if that's the case.
Yeah, that was really the first Oscar contender that I saw.
Yeah,
and everyone
saw.
Yeah.
Outside of, Minari at Sundance and The Father at Sundance and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And everyone thinks that Emerald is safe.
I do. Yeah,
I think so.
I think there's going to be 2 women. Absolutely. I
feel pretty good. I'd be more surprised if she got left out than she got.
If she does, it's a snub.
It's
a snub.
snub.
Oh yeah, it's a snub.
Yeah.
So I have her in. I have Chloe Zhao. I have Lee Isaac Chung, David Fincher. That 5th spot, I'm going with Florian Zeller for The Father.
He's in that 6 to 8.
Yeah.
5 to 8.
I'm pretty sure that among the 7 of us, we have the 5. We're correct.
Yeah.
They've all come up.
I can't imagine anybody outside of that group getting in. It would be incredible.
We
Yeah.
didn't mention the director from Sound of Metal. I think he's still bubbling in there as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
Maybe I should predict him since I don't know who I want my fifth to be.
And
Go
some
for
people
it.
are. Some people are.
Yeah.
Do
But I
it.
just don't
And
know
we
who
do-
to replace.
We do have the weird thing this
Weird.
year where none of the first time director DGA nominees who directed their first film are in normal, regular DGA. And as far as I know, they did not change any rules to that
Mm.
because it's happened twice.
And Fennel got in to the regular one and wasn't in the other one, which was weird.
No, I don't get it. I don't understand why that crossover did not happen.
It seemed very on purpose that they focused on Fennel in the top category and like, well, I'm not putting her in the first timers because I already have her here.
Sure.
But
Because for Regina King, that's very much a consolation nomination. I feel like we didn't have room for you there, so pick this one. So yeah, I agree.
It's strange. It's strange. But yeah, Florian Zeller is, I mean, if you believe that The Father is a strong contender, then
I
yeah.
don't even believe that movie exists.
There has not been a more poorly managed campaign of visibility than Sony Pictures Classics with The Father.
Unbelievable.
It's absolutely ridiculous. They did so bad this year.
yeah.
So will it go? Is it just going to go? Will it get nominated just based on its pedigree with Hopkins, Coleman, and the type of film that it is? The story, is it not based?
I mean,
on,
I'm sure the voters have seen it. It's just that
have they really?
like apart from just trusting voters to vote for it, they did not bank on really building any discourse around it, just in social media, anywhere.
And
So
it kind of started that way. They were doing
local.
really well with Hopkins and his TikToks and his like dancing and his fun.
He was kind of first out of the gate, right? With Boston, didn't he win that? And then that was kind of it, right? He won the Boston. That was one of the first awards announced, and I remember he won. And then I think everybody was like, "Oh, here we go!" And then that was it. So, other than Erik, has anybody else seen The Father? No. Erik, and
how would you get around it?
Well, I know, but maybe you had a friend that had a screener or something that you boosted.
No, I have the screener.
Right, you have it, but I was asking other than you. Has anybody else seen it? And then just quick thing. Do you think it deserves like picture and all the things that it's potentially going to get nominated for?
Deserves or is going to get?
I'm going to say deserves.
Deserves, yes.
Okay.
It is unlike any movie I've ever seen, actually, for its subject matter. And there's actually been a considerable amount of like dementia-based stories and films, even just this year. And I think it is Hopkins' best performance of his entire career, of his 60-year career. I think it's his best.
Okay, so it's okay. Cool.
And that was the response right after Sundance too. And it was like, he's front runner and nobody will be able to upset him all year long.
Right.
Until Chadwick Boseman died. So I think it deserves it, but it missed ACE, it missed Art Directors Guild, and those are the two technical elements of that film that are absolutely integral to how the film tells its story of Hopkins being confused about where he is and what time he's in and everything. It is absolutely crucial in the audience's ability to be in his mindset. And it's so unbelievably effective that getting snubbed, especially at ADG, which has 3 categories, I don't understand it. I don't understand how it happened other than it wasn't seen.
Yeah,
and I think that's exactly what's going to happen here.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Interesting.
I'm going with it for director because I'm blindly assuming that Sony Pictures Classic was more targeted with AMPAS voters than they were with the other with guilds and precursors, which is stupid, but that's what I'm going based off of right now.
I mean, I know that the DGA first time is way too young to be able to,
right,
rely on it as a precedent or precursor, but it doesn't have the greatest record of
I would
translating into an Oscar nomination.
I would definitely feel more confident if he had gone in at BAFTA as well. Then I would have been more like, okay, I
would have too. If it had been him instead of Venture
BAFTA to snub the movie the way they did.
He snubbed Coleman.
That was so funny. Anybody not predicting Coleman to win this award?
That was my no guts, no glory. Like 10 minutes before the BAFTA announced, I was like, okay, here's my no guts, no glory. Coleman's getting snubbed, and then she did.
You witch.
I know. My power.
She also got snubbed on the TV side too.
Yeah, last year, and that was the reason why I said that.
Yeah.
Like, you know what? Something's fishy.
It
was fishback.
Oh, and my FYC for director is Sia.
Oh my god.
John, I'm so sorry. This is going to be the last podcast you do with us.
I'm very worried this is going to be a very non-historic category. So,
Ron Howard.
God damn it! Why would you even say that? It's going to be historic no matter what, because Chloe Zhao is going to get it.
Yes.
Has any director ever been nominated for the Razzie and for an Oscar in the same year for the same movie?
I'll have to look.
I don't think so.
Just out of curiosity.
We know the actor records for that, but I didn't look for directing. I'll look.
I guess no. I'm gonna guess that's probably never happened.
No, because they will usually target performances in a very different way than directors.
Yeah, they usually just go with the absolute shitty movies.
Yeah,
Kubrick wasn't nominated for Shining, right?
No.
He was. Yeah.
Then yes, there you go.
Not at the Oscars.
Not at the Oscars.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, for the Razzies, he was. Yeah.
Yeah, because he was not.
Okay.
Way on to the big one.
Big one, yeah.
All right.
We've been talking about it the whole time.
You have to
identify how many.
This is the last time we're gonna do this because next year will be 10. So.
Thank God! I can't wait.
How many you have?
It's bullshit.
If you have 8, you have to say if 9, if 10, like so we can see a big picture, and then your FYC if you have one. So.
God.
Rob, you're gonna start us off.
Okay.
Nervous. This is my nervous space.
Okay, I have 9. So I'm going with The Father, Judas and the Black Messiah, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, Mank, Minari, Nomadland, One Night in Miami, Promising Young Woman, The Trial of Chicago 7, and my FYC, which is never going to happen in a bazillion years, Never, Rarely, Sometimes, Always.
What would you have in 10th?
I would have in 10th, good question, Another Round.
Okay.
And I just pulled that out of my ass this second because I didn't think about it.
All right. Matt.
All right. I have 9. Judas and the Black Messiah, Ma Rainey, Mank, Minari, Nomadland, One Night in Miami, Promising Young Woman, Sound of Metal, and The Trial of the Chicago 7. And then FYC, I would say Black Bear or The Nest, which no one really talks about either of those two films, but those are two of my favorites from last year.
Oh, cool.
And if I had to do the 10th, I don't even know, probably The Father, even though I don't know, I'm not that confident in that, but I guess that'd be my 10th.
All right, Rachel.
I actually have the same list as Matt. I have 9 with those same movies: Judas and the Black Messiah, Ma Rainey, Mank, Minari, Nomadland, One Night in Miami, Promising Young Woman, Sound of Metal, Trial of Chicago 7. I have The Father in 10th, really just because it remains a giant effing question mark, and I don't know who has seen it. And I said it earlier, but just to be different from everybody else and to pick FYC is different from everybody else, I'll FYC Palm Springs.
John, your list.
I think I have a pretty similar list. I'm only predicting 8. Judas, Ma Rainey's, Mank, Minari, Nomadland, One Night in Miami, Promising Young Woman, and Trial of the Chicago 7. My 9th would be Sound of Metal. My 10th would be The Mauritanian. And as far as an FYC, I'm gonna yes and Rachel and say Palm Springs. I really enjoyed that movie.
Cool. I
Actually,
thought
we're-
I was picking something different, but it was
That or Never, Rarely, Sometimes, Always. Those are the 2 that I've really enjoyed that are not on this or not anywhere in the contention for this.
Erik.
This is my official ranking. I have 9, and it's Trial of the Chicago 7, Nomadland, Minari, Promising Young Woman, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, Mank, Sound of Metal, One Night in Miami, and Judas and the Black Messiah. If it's 10, I'm going to actually go with The Father, although the grasp on that is tenuous at best. And with a spoiler of News of the World to, surprisingly just bounce back out of nowhere. My FYC would obviously be First Cow.
Jessica.
my FYC is music.
My God.
Your best picture.
The amount of relationships dying today, it's so sad.
Never. Never.
Jessica, your predictions.
Okay, so I have 8. Yeah, so okay. Mank, Minari, Nomadland, Miami, Promising Young Woman, Chicago 7, The 5 Bloods, Judas and the Black Messiah, if 9, Sound of Metal, if 10, The Father, if 11, Another Round. I don't know. My FYC is Collective.
So you don't have Ma Rainey.
Yeah, you have Ma Rainey.
Wait, did you?
What were you missing?
I don't have Marini.
Yeah.
You don't.
No.
Yeah, I don't.
How?
It's bad.
I have another.
It's got the Best Actor winner and a locked Best Actress nominee.
Sure.
That's
It's not getting snubbed. Mank
NG&G,
Mank has a better chance of getting snubbed than Ma Rainey almost.
they should both get snubbed.
Oh damn.
So,
I mean, in my estimation, obviously, not as
So,
a.
I'm predicting 9. I have Nomadland, Trial of Chicago 7, Minari, Promising Young Woman, Mank, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, Sound of Metal, The Father, and Judas and the Black Messiah. If 10, One Night in Miami. I took it out. I was looking at my total nominations, and I don't see the passion for it. Like Regina King should have gone in at DGA, the top category.
Yeah.
It's been everywhere, but it hasn't won anything. They could have easily given the Globe for song to the movie and a win for Leslie Odom Jr. instead of, again, edging Diane Warren for nothing. So
Oh yeah.
Wow, totally not something I really wanted to think about on a Sunday morning. The day of the Lord, Alfie.
I don't know. Would
A
they
day
double,
of rest, but not for us.
I don't know. Would they double snub King?
Well, it's not really a double snub because she's not a producer.
Yeah, but it's her picture, so I mean, they don't probably
No,
think
it's on the low end when I tabulated because
Yeah.
I didn't tabulate my totals until after my nominations, and sometimes that's not a great thing because I have Minari in the second most nominations, which is super crazy and risky. But I have One Night in Miami with just 4.
I see, and I don't have Sound of Metal making Best Picture. I don't know what my problem is.
Me
I
neither.
have Sound of Metal with 6, the same as Nomadland.
yeah.
Fuck, I don't.
I
I think I'm gonna regret this one. I think
it's strong. I think it's really strong.
I think you're right. I think you're right. You know what? I'm
It-
sticking it.
it's
I'm
strong
sticking.
in the sense that it's not going to win anything, though.
Yeah, it is.
What is it winning?
It'll win sound, and
Sound.
Oh.
it's going to be competitive in editing, but I think it's
Yep.
gonna win sound.
Sound,
Okay,
yeah,
so-
okay. Sound, yeah,
1,
sure.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
But anything with 2 acting nominations
Yeah.
is in the conversation for Best Picture nomination, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what
I-
if Amy Adams makes it in?
Then Hillbilly Elegy is in the conversation for.
Can you
Best Picture
imagine if we
nomination.
wake up tomorrow and watch these and it's like Hillbilly Elegy leads the
It's
2021
not gonna
Oscar?
lead, but would it be
With-
insane if
well-
it makes it in Best Picture? I don't know.
That was the
Green Book won, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, but Trial is the Green Book this year.
You know, last year I didn't get up to watch the nomination. I just figured I'd see what the results were, and I woke up and it was probably they'd long been announced. It was probably around 7:30, and I remember looking at my phone because I have all the news alerts, and that was the craziest thing when I saw Joker leads Academy Awards 11 nominations. I had to like double check on that. I just did not think so.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to happen twice. I think Hillbilly's going to get its 2, and that's it.
Yeah.
I only have it for 1.
Yeah.
Just-
Some
not
have
makeup?
1, some have
I have it
2.
for makeup.
Yeah.
You don't have
No
for
makeup?
makeup? Ooh.
He does have, you do have for makeup, right? You don't?
What?
It's gonna win.
It's probably gonna win, yeah.
We'll see.
Okay.
I thought that was.
This
your
is
way
the
of
Albert
telling us
Nobbs of
that
it all.
You took out Close.
No, I have close still in.
Wait, that picture of her on Albert Nobbs with Phoebe Waller-Bridge and Emerald,
Emerald
Fennell
Fennell.
was amazing.
Uh-huh.
Gold.
Wasn't
Yeah.
that the best?
Not
Yeah.
enough to make me rewatch that. So
She knows how to campaign.
She plays the game like nobody else. Yeah, she's
Nobody
the
else.
master. Yep.
She's fucking incredible.
All right, I just changed my.
Just needs to
predictions.
score a basket.
I'm just stuck on my 5th director slot, and if I put somebody in who I want to replace, because this whole time I've been having a negative feeling about Fennell, but everyone seems to think she's in. Promising Young Woman is my favorite movie of the year, so it's not that I want her to get snubbed. That's not what it's about. I don't know.
I think anybody doing this realistically believes that Zhao is the only lock.
Yeah.
Yes.
No one else is.
And even there, it's like 90% sure, because if she was a guy, then it'd be like 100%. But you know how they are. So
Oh no, I mean I think she's sailing through winning and there is no question. I don't think
And
there's
she'll win
any debate
director
on that.
even if something else wins picture. I think she's gonna win director.
Oh yeah.
Oh, me too.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna get a Trial Nomadland split.
what? Girl,
Wait,
you're
we're gonna get a
crazy.
Trial Nomadland split without Sorkin being nominated for director,
Yeah.
a la Green Book, basically.
So Eric, right now you're predicting Trial to win Best Picture.
In a preferential ballot, yes.
Okay. What would be your
All
second?
right.
Well, Nomadland.
Nomadland. Okay.
Yeah.
It depends. I mean, yes, Nomadland obviously makes the most sense. If Minari gets as many nominations as I think it will, then it becomes a 3-way race pretty easily. But I
Okay.
still think Trial benefits from that.
I also want to say that I have Shaka King in 6 for Best Director, and I could definitely see that happen.
Oh my God.
Just putting it out there.
I mean, it also will become just a game of, well, if this is losing Best Picture, where can it get its one win? Like if Minari becomes the front runner for Cesco, cover your ears. If Minari becomes the front runner for Best Supporting Actress, then it's being rewarded there. And if someone else becomes the front runner for actress, then they can give Fennell screenplay and like those kind of pieces of the puzzle.
That's the thing is that we're not in an era of sweeps anymore.
Yeah.
So if you have
Spreading
Best
the wealth.
Picture, you are either going to win director or screenplay, and possibly an acting, and that's it. And that only benefits really Trial and Nomadland, because I don't think Promising Young Woman is winning Best Picture.
No.
Oh,
If
Promising Young Woman.
Minari is going to win Best Picture, then it has to win director or screenplay, and or supporting actress. Yeah, I mean it becomes a pretty easy numbers game at that point because of that ballot. To me,
The number of nominations that Minari gets tomorrow is going to be very telling, I think, in terms of what they want to do with it. Yeah.
It's sort of like Moonlight in the sense that Moonlight maxed out on its realistic nominations, which was, I think it was 8. So that was kind of like, oh, okay. It hit absolutely everything that it was going to, could have realistically, period. If Minari does the same thing, if it gets in editing, that's yeah.
Strong then, yeah.
That's also huge.
Mm-hmm. I mean, look at the Green Book Roma year. Green Book got in editing, Roma didn't. And even though that statistic has broken, it's stronger.
But it's super strong. Yeah.
And that should have been enough right there, even more than the PGA win.
Well, what threw me off with that year was that Tavira got in, and I was like, oh, like 2 acting nominations.
Mm-hmm.
Lisa was also on the bubble that year, so yeah, I got burned.
All right, guys.
Is
Good
it time?
luck tomorrow, everybody. I think so.
No one's hosting the show, right?
Thank God.
There is not an announcement yet. I have heard some things about the production that are pretty exciting. Not anything specific, so don't ask me.
Okay.
Just that the show that's being put together is pretty amazing, and it's Steven Soderbergh is really doing something very different.
Oh.
Well, between 3 producers, they should be able to come up with a good show. So
I hope he's doing all of it on an iPhone 6.
6, huh? And that's end of April, right?
25th.
April 25th.
whoa.
Jesus
My
Christ.
God.
This is bad. Old days. Back in the...
And unlike in a regular year, the Spirit Awards are not the day before. They're 3 days before.
Okay.
On
Second.
okay, interesting.
The Razzies are doing the night before.
Front row.
Good for them.
So
If Glenn wins, she should show up.
if Glenn wins,
In
she
character.
should wear the gold dress from.
She is totally going to win.
Yeah, I think she's gonna win. Yeah, the Razz.
They're not gonna let that chance go.
Nope.
Of
It's
possibly
her first
combined.
Razzie nomination.
If
isn't
she
it?
gets nominated for the Oscar, yes,
Yeah, if she gets nominated, yeah.
but
They're not
she's
gonna let that.
absolutely winning.
Yeah.
Seems so.
And she is the type of person I think that would have the right sense of humor about it. Although she's serious about her craft, she has an unbelievably great, weird sense of humor and just understanding of everything, of her place, of her history. So
We'll see.
not that
I
it
gotta
wouldn't still
duck
hurt,
out.
I'm sure.
All right.
Okay.
I gotta duck out.
Love you
Bye,
all.
guys.
All right. We'll.
I see music.
We'll
Look for music.
reconvene tomorrow, I'm sure.